Free socks.
Hey there, sports fans and card enthusiasts. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Mickey Mantle. Yes, that's right. One of the great all-time Yankees, all-time sluggers. You know, when I was a kid, Mickey Mantle, even though I grew up a Mets fan, Mickey Mantle cards and Mickey Mantle himself was like the epitome of classic baseball.
If I do break it, I'll be lucky, and if I don't, I'm sure not going to be disappointed. If I end up the season with about 55 home runs, I'd be very happy.
Those were the times where baseball seemed completely genuine, pure. It was a time long before I was born, but you know, you had some of the all-time greats like, you know, Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mays, Snyder, Stan Musial, all these greats that came before my time, you know, Ernie Banks, you know, even the real old-time guys like Ty Cobb or Christy Mathewson or Cy Young. These were names that, like, you could only read about in books. And Mickey Mantle baseball cards were something that every kid craved. And growing up in the heyday of what soon became the junkbacks era of, you know, the early 80s, you know, even then acquiring Mickey Mantle cards was hard. So this is a Beckett Baseball Card Monthly from October 1985. Now, sorry, I gotta let that kind of autofocus a little bit, if you will, for it. You know, 1985, that was, you know, a year that was kind of like the pinnacle of baseball card collecting for me. That's where, you know, I kind of started and got most of my card collections really, you know, underway. I think I started with like 84 really, but 85 Topps, 86, 87, that was like the height of collecting. I was probably like, you know, 12, 13, no, 10, 12, 13 years old during that time. And I remember going to card shows or card shops, and every once in a while you'd get to see, you know, an old Mickey Mantle card, and it just was like, it made your day. And of course, the pinnacle then, as it still is now, of Mickey Mantle cards was his rookie card, 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle. That card is a card that if you had it, you were a god in the baseball world, baseball card collecting world. And I remember that I used to see one all the time. There was a card shop. I grew up in Las Vegas. There was a baseball card shop run by, you know, I think a guy that was, I think he ran it by himself. And he was always there. I would go in there. There'd always be Cubs games on the TV. I would go in there and save up my allowance and buy, like, you know, a 1981 Mike Schmidt card or a 1985 Dwight Gooden rookie. And that was, you know, like, or, you know, like you see here, 85 Donruss Leaf rookie, Dwight Gooden. That would, you know, take up most of my allowance. But the baseball card shop owner had on display and for sale a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle. And I would go into the baseball card shop and just stare at that card for, you know, sometimes hours on end. And I remember the time he was asking what seemed like just a ridiculous amount of money for it. So I just want to go and take a look at this 1985 Beckett here. Just turn in for a page or two. Right to the beginning here. We're going to go to 1952 Topps, which you'll see right over here. And I'll try and bring this in so you can see. Those are what the 52 Topps look like. And this is what the cost of a Mickey Mantle card in 1985 was. He's over here. Now you see that big number there? Of course, it's gonna try and zoom in a little bit, but I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if we can make that a little bit more readable. You know, it doesn't like the light here. Okay. Well, I'll try and keep it there and point it out. But right here is the Mickey Mantle first Topps card, which essentially is a rookie. If you can read that number there, it says $1,400 for fair to good condition, $2,500 for mint condition. Now, I remember the baseball card shop owner had that card on display for, I think it was $1,700. And it was in pristine condition. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous card. Now, I remember I could never afford that card. It would have taken saving all of my allowances for the next 10 years to be able to get that card. But I think back and I like, if I had the money, if I was an adult, $1,700 in 1985 was not that terrible. I could have, might have cost me a few meals and, maybe, put the mortgage off for, a month or two, but, $1,700, that's affordable. That card today, in the condition that was in back then in that baseball card shop, if that was graded by, PSA or SCG, that card, I would say, would at least get a 7. It was that good. Maybe a 7.5, probably even an 8. There were no dings on it. The corners were sharp. No surface wear that I could remember. It was a beauty. And if you had a 52 Mantle now in a PSA 6, you could be looking at $500,000. If you had it, maybe a little bit less. You had a 7 or an 8, you could easily be sitting over $1 million. And if you had a 9, I'm just going to flash some of the eBay listings or headlines here in the next few seconds here of just what some of these 1952 Mickey Mantle cards in good shape, really good shape, are going for. And you'll see here, oh my God, it's ridiculous. You could be sitting on a couple millions of dollars, just having a really nice 52 Mickey Mantle card. One card. Of course, there are other cards out there, the T206 Honus Wagner card that you could be sitting on, $10 million if you had a really, really good version of that. But there are a few cards as special as a 52 Mickey Mantle. I'll never own one. I did actually have a chance earlier this year to buy a not even graded, but it would be probably less than a PSA 1 or a SCG 1, even if there were an SCG 0 or PSA. It was wrinkled in so many different ways. Like, it just was horrifically wrinkled. It was faded. The back was, had, paper loss on the back, but it was up on eBay and there was a bidding war and people bid on it. And I think it sold for $3,700 for this card that looked like it had been through the washing machine for 52 Mantle, just because it was a legit, authentic 52 Mantle. Even that kind of card can go for, several thousands of dollars today. And so I'll never own a 52 Mantle, or at least not anytime soon. What I did want to do today is kind of just go through some of the Mantle cards I have been able to acquire, because Mantle, Mantle is a very special player, very special card. So I'll start with the very first Mickey Mantle card I ever owned. And I've had this ever since I was a kid. This is the only one that I still have from my, collection as a kid. I did sell a few others off that were, none of them were super valuable. But this 1962 Manager's Dream card with Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays is one that I've kept. Now, clearly I've had this in my collection for a long time. It's dinged up a little bit. I had it in albums at first and then transferred it to card holders, and obviously now to, more better protective card holders. This is a recessed one. I don't like screw downs at all, but it's in a recessed screw down. I'll probably, move it to one of the newer, like, one of these style, which are I don't want to spoil the next card, but, it's more of the magnetic ones that are the magnetic lockdown ones. So, but, this is the first one I ever had. I've kept it in the last kind of protective case that I've had. So I've had it in this case for probably 15, 20 years now, if not more. And I haven't touched it since then. Again, it's not in good shape at all. I'd say if this were to be graded, it'd probably be maybe a PSA 3 at best. Maybe even a 2.5. So it's not great, but it's a very special card to me because it's got Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays, two of my favorite players of all times on there. So that's one Mickey Mantle card. And here's another one. It's from the same year, also 62. This is the Switch Hitter Connects card. This is one I picked up not that long ago, maybe only about 3-4 months ago. Got it in a good deal or a good auction actually off of eBay. This is a 62 Topps Mickey Mantle card, number 318. This is I don't think is this his base card? I can't remember if it is or not, but I remember getting a pretty good deal on this one in the eBay auction. Kind of swooped in at the last minute and picked this one up. It's in pretty decent shape. This one's not graded either. I'd say if it were to be graded, it's got a nice big crease right here down here, so this would probably be a 1.5 maybe. But other than that, it's still a crease aside, it's not a bad looking card. It presents pretty well, so happy to have that in my PC. Here's another one, the 1962 batting leaders 1963 Topps card. This has the Mick up here in the top left corner. Also has Floyd Robinson, Pete Runnels, Chuck Hinton, and Norm Seaburn. These were the batting leaders of 1962. This card's worth, I think, $75 to $100 or so, maybe less, maybe $50. I can't remember. So it's not a super pricey card to have, but it's one of the leaders cards that has Mickey Mantle on it. There's a few others out there that I'll probably add to my PC at some point soon, but get the glare out of there. That's just a nice card to have, and that's it. This one's actually in pretty decent shape. This would probably, it's off center, left to right, but I'd say this would probably grade a 3, maybe 3.5, maybe 4. The surface is gorgeous on it. There's no blemishes at all, so could maybe grade a 4. Doubtful, but here's another one I have. This one I picked up at a card show for pretty cheap. Rival All-Stars, Mickey Mantle and Cleet Boyer. This one's got a nice little ding at the very top there. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to get it so you can put it in focus a little bit better, but it's got a nice little ding there. It's got some surface wear here and here, a little surface wear there. But I only spent like, I think, $20 on this, and it's worth a little bit more than that. It's like 80 to 100, maybe 150. I can't remember exactly how much it is. It's not, again, not worth a lot of money, but there's the back. Back looks really nice and clean. Just the front with the surface wear, but it was another cheaper one to pick up. There's also a little crease there on that side. So, I think I got this for $20, maybe 15. I can't remember. Did not spend a whole lot of money on that one. Now moving on to some of the nicer ones that I have. Here's a 1967 Topps Mickey Mantle. Again, non-graded. It's certainly off center left to right. The corners are a little fuzzy. It's not in great shape, but their surface wear is very minimal. There's no major creases in it. Here's the back, 1967. Just kind of a gorgeous card all around. This one's worth, a couple $100. Maybe, $300 so, $400. Again, I don't have my price guide, my updated price guides with me, but it's not a bad card to have. It's this one's been with me for probably 20 years now or more. I picked this up just on a whim when I was passing through an antique store, and added this to my collection. So didn't spend a whole lot of money on it, but that's a nice one to have. That aside, here's another one special to me. This one, again, most of my mantles are going to have some blemishes here and there, just because they're super, super expensive cards to acquire. So this is a 1959 Topps Mantle, pretty special to me, but it's got some wear and blemishes. You see here, there's a crease that runs in from there. Try to get the glare off there for you. The corners, you can see there at the bottom, pretty fuzzy. Up the top, they're not terrible, but they're not, it's not going to grade well. This would probably be a PSA 1.5, maybe 2. I doubt it'd be 2. I'm going to say a 1.5. There's a little bit, that's not a crease, that's a little scratch in the case there. Yeah, there is a little bit of a crease over here too, so it looks like a little bit of a surface crease going across to cross, but it doesn't quite go in the middle. But I still love the look and feel of this card. Here's the back. Back is pretty sharp. No major blemishes, just the corner wear on that. Nice card to have. Again, not super expensive. Now we get into some a little bit better cards. These are all graded that I have here. This is a 1958 Topps Mantle and Aaron World Series Batting Foes. This is a card I just picked up recently. Do love this card quite a bit. Put it there so you can see it a little bit better. Again, it's a VGA 3, very good 3, PSA graded. You see the corners have a little bit of fuzz to them. Not too bad. It's off center a little bit left to right. Bottom left hand corner is probably the worst of them. Here's the back. Again, pretty sharp. So that grades out of a 3. It seems about right. Maybe off. I might, me personally, I might say a 3.5. It's in pretty good shape. Here's another PSA 3. This is a Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra, 1957 Topps Mantle Berra Power Hitters. It's a gorgeous card. This is a PSA 3. The corners are pretty sharp on this one, I think. And the surface looks pretty good. I think if anything, it's dinging on the corners and the centering on this one. And if it were me, I'd probably grade this closer to a 4. But, here's the back. I'm trying to get the glare off there for you. It is, there's a little bit of surface wear on the back. You can see it kind of hitting over where it says statisticians here. It's not terrible. But that's just a nice, beautiful card to have. I've had this in my collection for several years now. I can't remember how long, probably about less than 10. But here's one I picked up, about a year and a half ago. This is a 1958 Mickey Mantle All-Star card. It's graded a VG EX4, which I found interesting. This is a 4 because it's got this weird line thing, which I don't know if it's a printing error or not. It's also got another little line here. It's off center, left to right. So as far as cards presenting, I'd say this is lesser of a presentation than some of the other ones that you've seen already. But to me, it's still a gorgeous card to have. Not when I spent a whole lot. I got this at a baseball card shop. That I may revisit this baseball card shop on this channel because they're really cool guys and they have some cool stuff. A couple things I may want to do at that card shop, but got a really great deal at the card shop from these guys. Super Sports Cards in Vancouver, Washington. We'll plug out, a little shout out to them. Just really nicely presented card on the back. So, and I always loved the style of these 58 All-Star cards. They're really nice. And actually, you can see there's even got more surface blemishes. Hard to see in the video here, but I can see it a little bit in the light. It's like a weird, I don't want to call it a gum stain, but some weird discoloration there. Yeah, right in the middle of the card. But it's a PSA 4, so they're grading that out pretty well. They may have been graded before PSA, heightened its restrictions. Then the last one that I'll show here today is one I just got picked up recently. Saw a great deal online for this. This is a 1964 Topps Mickey Mantle. I love the 1964 look and feel. And this card popped up recently on eBay, and somebody put a really screaming good deal on it, and I pounced right away because it was just that good of a card. I mean, it's a SCG 4.5. It's really sharp. The corners are beautiful. It's off-center ever so slightly left to right, and maybe a little bit top to bottom, but it's in really good condition. There's no creases whatsoever. There's no surface wear that I can tell. The back looks, pretty gorgeous. It does have a little bit of a little print line here, but it faded ever so slightly, but not too terrible. This is probably my favorite Mantle card so far, and this is the last one I have to show today. So, Mantle cards do not come cheaply. They are hard to come by, especially if you're on a budget like I am. But there will certainly be more added to my collection as I go. But for now, I think maybe not just because it's the most recent, but I do love this style so far. I think this is my favorite one so far, and it's also my highest graded one. So, again, nothing spectacular. I'm not going to. I'd love to be able to show you a 52 Mantle, or even a 53 Mantle, or a 53 Bowman, or 51 Bowman Mantle. Hell, I'd love to even be able to show a 55 Mantle to you, 56 Mantle. But these are what I have right now, and I'm going to be looking to add more and grow more to it as I can afford it. But there you go. Some vintage Mickey Mantle cards for you.
I think that this year I'd rather lead the league in runs batted in, home runs, and hitting. And that's my goal for this year.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe and come back for the next episode. We're always doing some fun stuff with vintage. Until then, have a great one.